Hello everyone. Let me take you on our journey from Pune to Cologne. In June of 2022, a notification popped up on our screen for a joint fieldwork program with the University of Cologne. So, how could the bright-eyed, curious, environmental sciences master student of Bharati Vidyapeeth University miss out on such an opportunity? Through a detailed multi-level screening process by the professors of both the universities and the funding agencies of the DAAD, 12 students got selected from the 26 that had applied. This brought us to the beginning of our journey, and on the 31st of October, we boarded our flight. We landed in Cologne, jet-lagged and sleepy-eyed from the journey, only to be welcomed by an enthusiastic professor, Kirk Juncker. Since it was a national holiday, the city wore a completely deserted look. This took us by surprise, because in India, it is quite the opposite on public holidays. Our 15 days of learning in Germany began with a fun little orientation session at the professor's office, which he complimented with coffee and snacks. Then both Professor Kumar and Professor Juncker decided that it would be a good idea to take 12 jet-lagged students to a cemetery. This is where our learnings began.
The concept of a cemetery as a green space for the public was intriguing, and we saw scope for similar implementation back home. Our subsequent visits to the green belts, guided by experts, brought us good insight about how urban greens become a reliable part of the citizens' daily lives, to a point that going to the park is a sort of a culture. All throughout our stay in Cologne, we observed many buildings with beautiful green rooftops and green facades. The use of ivy and climbers for facades looks to be an interesting way of converting greys to greens. Beyond the display of animals with microbiotas, the Cologne Zoo exhibited a strong species conservation approach with collaboration with other regional and international zoos. We saw the linkage of ex situ to in situ species conservation through the one plan approach. The use of animals rescued from illegal wildlife trade as a part of the breeding program looks like an interesting way forward for zoos.
One of our city excursions took us to Stuttgenhof, a remote location in the outer part of the city. We had the unique opportunity of walking to the Waldlabor, or forest laboratory, which was vast acres of land given to research and improvement of forests. We were guided by Mr. Martin Bowman, the forester of the area, to the different types of forests such as recreational, energy, climate and wilderness forests. The lab shows a strong private nature partnership where major corporate companies paid to maintain the forest. The city of Cologne, having developed on either side of the river Rhine, has major parts of its areas on floodplains. This leads to a constant threat of flooding in the city. A mobile dam facility constructed along the Rhine and automated gates which shut the roadways adjacent to the river form a commendable flood mitigation strategy to save the city from a flooding catastrophe.
A trip to Houston, hosting the Wadensee National Park, introduced us to a unique coastal landscape. The Indian eyes, used to seeing tropical mangroves along coasts, were intrigued by dune grasses and the dynamic sand dunes. Although the walk on the largest mud flat was exhilarating and messy, a scenic view coupled with appearances by numerous crustaceans and mollusk species was rewarding. Though a bit late to witness the migratory birds feeding on the seafloor brimming with life, to stand there and to listen to the life cycle of the flyway birds was exciting.
Moving on, the excursions to the various locations around Cologne, Bonn, and the Wadensee were also lined with visits to museums and interpretation centers. It provided a unique opportunity to understand the theoretical aspects by observing visitor interactive exhibits and learning from experts about the local conflicts with wildlife. The challenge of conflict is far greater in India due to its population dynamics and the vast diversity of species. But here we learn about the conflict between a part of the population and certain species such as wolves and migratory birds. The Pune to Cologne journey culminated with 15 days of learning and cultural exchange. This program has provided us newer perspectives of possibilities in urban sustainability and hopeful implementation of the same back home. As we now take leave, we would wish to extend our gratitude to Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, the University of Cologne, German Academic Exchange Service for making this exchange possible and making this experience a memorable one. A wholehearted thank you from all of us.
So we got to explore a lot of places in and around Cologne and in a very limited amount of time. So it was really hectic, but then we also found out really good places and enjoyed that little time we had.
Your punctuality, German people are one of the most punctual people that I've ever seen in the world.
I love how well connected the city is, especially the part where the trams get converted into trains and go underground. That is really cool.
This is the bicycle track.
Oh! Love the food. I never imagined these many types of breads, but I like them all. But it's a bit dry, but so.
I loved it.
Used to a loud noise in India, but now in Germany, after coming here, we have experienced silence, and it is an integral part of German culture. So I like it.
Go!
So this automated dustbin tells you when it's full.
Everyone coins, please.
550.
I got another €2.
How much?
Thank you for the opportunity.